Welcome to The Definitive Wrap, where we report the truth about American exceptionalism. We love our flag, we love our country, and we believe in America. The Definitive Wrap, where we respect people of faith, the men and women in blue, and our support for Israel. And now your hosts, Bela Sebro, she's the nice one, and Alan Skorsky. He's not so nice. But together they are The Definitive Wrap.
I'm Alan Skorsky with my co-host Bela Sebro, and welcome to The Definitive Wrap, where we discuss the news items the mainstream media just won't touch. The Definitive Wrap is proud to be the official podcast of vinnews.com. First, I want to wish everyone, especially our Israeli family, a happy and meaningful Yom Yerushalayim. And now also, sadly, we are hearing about the new violence in Yerushalayim and other parts of Israel, and they should know that they are always in our prayers. Now for today's show. If you're Jewish and you're a strong supporter of Israel and you love stories about the Mossad and the Shin Bet, you probably watched Fauda. But to watch one of Netflix's biggest hits called Shtisel, it doesn't matter if you're Jewish, religious, ultra-Orthodox, secular, Gentile, or anything else. If you have a TV, a smartphone, a computer, chances are you've watched Shtisel, the 3-season story about an ultra-Orthodox family who lives in a very religious part of Jerusalem called Geula, where nobody even owns a TV. One of the biggest stars from the show is a character called Akiva, sometimes called Kiva or Kivala, played by the actor Michael Aloni. What made him so popular was his soft-spokenness, his sensitivity, and almost his boyish mentality, which is revealed in his love for painting as an artist, something frowned upon in those religious circles. In fact, his character was so convincing that Michael Aloni would tell media outlets of the thousands of marriage proposals he received from mothers whose daughters were ready to marry a struggling artist. And when I researched our guest for today, I saw he actually looks like Michael Aloni. I still think that. Today, we have a very special guest from Tel Aviv named Alex Tubis, whom Bela will introduce shortly. He is a real artist and the artist who drew several of the most memorable paintings for Akiva. I can't wait to ask Alex many questions about his work for the show, but for now, I will turn the mic over to Bela.
Thank you, Alan. Most people of all cultures have been certainly smitten with the hit Israeli TV show Shtisel. I know I have, which explores the insular intricacies of an ultra-Orthodox family in Jerusalem, and especially with the talented, lovable, artistic character Kiva, who I'm in love with myself. Just everybody is. But there are other fascinating aspects to the show, the behind-the-scenes activities that the average viewer is not privy to, and that our audience today will be. I want you all to know that there were real-life, professional, famous artists that brought Akiva's journey to life. One of them is the artistic genius, Alex Tubis, whom we are going to meet in real life in just a few moments. Alex Tubis is the real painter behind Akiva Shtisel's Boy with a Goldfish, portraits of Libbi, Raheli, and some other works from the show. Born in Moscow, he came to Israel with his family at the age of 12. Being mainly inspired by the great film directors Andrei Tarkovsky and Kziztof Kishlovsky in his high school years, Tubis decided to be a painter after seeing the works from Diego Velasquez and Paolo Veronese. In the works of those great masters, he could see the same things he's trying to perceive in his own art: unsurpassed level of truth, intimacy, sculpted light, which provides divine beauty mixed with sadness of being. It's just so fascinating, those paintings. Alex's paintings subjects vary from people who are closest to him to unremarkable from the first sight Israeli landscapes that he sees around him. People react to his painting as capturing time and eternal polaroid. Tubis is lecturer for drawing and painting at the Bezalel Academy in Jerusalem. Alex, welcome to The Definitive Wrap. As I said to you before we went on camera, I am just awestruck and starstruck. This is amazing. Just just to get to meet the genius, the behind the scenes artist is just so incredible for me. So I have a question, and welcome again. I just have to say it one more time. When was the first time you heard about Shtisel? And more importantly, how did you get this coveted job? I'm sure there are plenty of people who are jealous. Like, how did Alex get this job? I want this job. Why you?
Well, first time that I heard about Shtisel is when the art director for season 2, Shimli Gal, called me and asked me actually to come to the interview. And I didn't know about Shtisel before. I didn't watch the season 1.
So they recruited you?
Yeah. And when I came to the interview, it was pretty funny because they were sitting the director of the show and the producer and the executive producer and also Shimli. And I brought with me paintings from another painter, from Peter Doig. He's like very well-known contemporary artist. And I told him that I can do it like he does, because I didn't think that my painting were like very unique. You know, I thought always that I'm doing a pretty good job at painting, but that my style is not contemporary. And so like when I knew about Shtisel and I knew that it grabbed plenty awards, all awards in Israel, you know, and then I got nervous and I thought that I'm not good enough. But then Dikla, the chief producer, she told me that they want me, actually, not some other painter. And it was an emotional moment. And
I could imagine.
Yeah, and yeah, she told actually that they went through a lot of painters and they chose me.
That must have been an unbelievable moment for you. I mean, if you could have captured that in a painting, I'd love to see that, if you could ever do that. just that moment of excitement, like, wow, they chose me, you know?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. You know, I want to ask you, you know, in many movies and many TV series, there are always these behind the scenes people, and you always see the credits after the movie, the person who holds the mic, the grip, the background. But you actually made Akiva who he is. Without you, Akiva Shtisel does not have the same type of allure that any other actors have. Again, they're all beloved in their own way. Gitti because of her strength, Shulam because he's a patriarch, but Akiva became the desire, for lack of a better term, of every mother out there who wants a son-in-law for their daughter because of you. You know, so I'm just wondering, you know, you don't think so, but tell me again though, because your role is so prominent. Do you feel a different type of connection to the show as opposed to the typical behind the scenes person? The guy who holds the microphone for the actor does it for 100 different shows. There is no emotional connection. Do you feel, because of what you brought to the show, that you are Shtisel, for lack of a better term?
Well, first of all, I think that, you know, the women who fall in love, they fall in love for Michael Aloni, not me. I mean, I must be honest.
Okay.
And I think that I have a very good connection with Michael. We are not close friends or something, but every time we meet each other, the connection is very good right away. We talk about personal, intimate stuff, you know. And I think that Michael's success is to bring something very cute. I'm sorry, I mean, cute can be a low word, but I think the way he does it, it's unbelievable. Right. And also deep, and also some kind of like broken inside, you know. And I think he does it really unbelievably. And yeah, so your question, I mean, yes, I feel like I'm not some guy from behind, and I think that they don't treat me, the production company, they don't treat me. I think that, yeah, I remember remember actually when there was a premiere for season 2, so they put all the actors on the scene, and then they asked me to go up as well, and it was very strange for me to stand there with all the actors. But yeah, I mean, I do understand why they do it, because I think that paintings fit in really well.
Alex, how does the process work? Do the writers give you any sort of direction with regards to what to paint? I'm not a painter, but I know that there's so much emotion that goes into it. How do you get that inspiration when asked to paint a particular piece of art? Do you show them drafts? How does it work?
Well, the main guy who instructs me about the painting is the guy who I would say understands painting most from all the production, which is Andrei, one of the writers. It's not that the director or producer don't have a say, but normally I will stay with the Ori and they count on our collaboration. And yeah, I mean, he guides me. He tells me, like, for the boy with the goldfish, for example, he told me that he thinks about the painting by Edouard Manet, The Boy with the Flute. It's a famous portrait. Right. And mix of it with a painting of boy from Silov, the Russian painter, which men can see in season 2. The painting of the boy that hangs on the wall at the studio. And yeah, but I think that the emotion, well, I chose art, as you told, because I think painting, I chose painting, not art. Of course, cinema is also great art, but I chose painting because I think that it can reach another level of intimacy and honesty and truth than maybe any other media besides music, I would say.
Right.
And I think that they chose right. I mean, when they chose me, I don't think that they saw something.
I second that notion that they chose right. I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I can give only a very huge credit for them to be able to see the emotion that I bring in painting so deeply, because many people, they see the outside, they see the style, they see maybe how good someone is in something. I don't think that they were searching for that. I think that they were searching for an emotion, for emotion in painting to be right to Akiva, and that's the deepest view on painting men can have,
Yeah. Alex, a few summers ago, the cast, they were touring America, and they were talking about the show and how they went from being regular people to Haredim, and how they had to keep redoing the scenes over and over and over again. And I'm just wondering, with your artwork, because again, it is complex. Let's say The Boy with the Goldfish or Libbi. Pick your, did you do it once and they say, this is beautiful, is it yuffie? Or no, Alex, go back, I didn't want to look like this, and you're scratching your head saying, what do you guys want from me? Or was your artwork pretty much on the spot when you did it and they didn't make you crazy with redos and retakes?
Well, actually it went like it always goes. You never know when the painting goes straight forward. Some of them are. Actually, the Boy with the Goldfish was pretty straightforward. And Libbi in the bride dress, which I think also one of the best paintings that I made for Shtisel, it was very not straightforward. I mean, the background was not right. It was white in the beginning, and then the portrait wasn't going so well. And well, the thing that maybe I can be proud of specifically in Libbi with the bridal dress is that in some point I got, I mean, everybody told me that it's okay already. Ori and Dikla and Alon, everybody. Yeah. And then I came to the studio the next day, and I have deleted the portrait completely because I felt that I can do better. And I felt that it's dead. It doesn't have a pulse. I don't like painting who doesn't have a pulse. And then I told myself that I'm painting it all over again, and that I'm not afraid anymore.
Right.
That I will just, do another, like a couple of touching with a brush, and it goes the way it goes, and it went well. I had luck.
Alex, I'm especially overcome with emotion when looking at the painting of Raheli surrounded by fire. At first glance, it seems violent and dangerous, but studying her face, she does not look scared. Rather, she seems to be sitting at peace. Can you tell us about that depiction, please?
Well, as I understand the idea from Oli, it's the flames are actually Libbi.
Oh, it's Libbi, right? Okay.
And I think that it's a very crucial part in the season where, like, Akiva begs, I would say, even from Libbi to let go. And he has the dream where all her paintings are burning, and I think that's why the flames are there. And I think that the flames, they're burning something old in order to to something new to be born. And yeah, that's why she isn't intimidated by it. And I can also say that it's another painting which wasn't straightforward at all. Actually, I never painted fire before, and I didn't know
Really?
how you should do it. And it was also like I painted it, and everybody say it's okay, it's very nice. And then my teacher from Bezalel, he was my teacher 20 years ago. Now we are friends, and we give each other critic. And I like to be given critic because everybody has blind spots. And he told me that it looks like some Indian gods illustration that the fire split. And when I asked him how should I do it better, he told me that the rhythm is the main thing. And then it was very interesting and unbelievable, actually. I thought, what is the rhythm of fire? And the fire has no rhythm. That's the thing. And so I acted, as a fire, and then it just went pretty good. And for me, it was very emotional to paint.
It's incredibly emotional. Yeah.
I read in one of the columns that you were able to relate to the little boy with the goldfish because he was a boy, again, who didn't have ground. And you spoke about when you moved from Russia to Israel, you felt the same way. Can you explain to our audience what that feeling is like, and maybe how you found therapy even in drawing that painting?
Well, first of all, I'm finding therapy in painting, period. I think that all art that I like is therapeutic. If it's not, if people do art to impress or to say some smart ideas, it doesn't touch me, But I think that that's the thing that I told you before, that they chose correctly. I think that, well, when Michael met me for the first time, he came to my studio so that I will give him a painting lesson or drawing lesson, I don't remember. He told me, I was actually noticing that he looks at me strange, like I'm looking at my subjects when I paint them. And then he told me what I understood before, that I remind him of Akiva. And I think that I have something broken inside me, I think all the buzz, for example, that is going on now around me, it's very strange for me. Everybody tells me that, wow, it's so great, it's unbelievable. For me, it's not great. For me, it's of course it's great. It's great that people see my paintings and they are so emotional about it. I mean, I saw the paintings of Velasquez and Veronese, and it was the best moment in my life, maybe. So I don't think that people, when they are looking at my paintings, I hope they have something similar, something moving inside their hearts. And that's why I paint. But it's also, all this thing with the success, it's not the reason why I do it. And it's like Akiva, well, he gets more success than I do. He is in the Jerusalem, Israel Museum, and in Tel Aviv Museum.
Yeah.
But he's always like ambivalent about it. And for me, it's the same thing. And so I think that in The Boy with the Goldfish, his gaze is also like he's insecure. He doesn't have its own ground, because that's how I am. I can't lie.
Wow. Alex, I'm curious, do you get to read the storylines way in advance?
I get, but I don't. Well, first of all, I prefer to watch the show without knowing what is going to happen.
You don't want to ruin it for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like reading the ending of a book before you start. I get it. Some people do, though, but I understand.
And also, I do believe that Ori can explain me precise enough what he wants. And I feel, again, that I'm the right person to do it. I really feel that there is some magical connection between me and the series, and that it will be okay. I don't have to know the script.
Alex, it's interesting that you made the connection about Kiva being ambivalent. And I'll tell you why I say that. When I watched the series, I didn't see him being ambivalent, more as insecure, because everybody around him was knocking him. His father made fun of him. His uncle made fun of him. The first date he went out with, you remember, he met at the hotel and he said, that's just shtuyot. And she said, nachon, shtuyot. Please tell me that with you and your paintings that you get support from your family and friends, and they're not saying, why do you want to be an artist for? You can't do anything with that.
I do get support.
Good. Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
But I think that for me, it's coming maybe from the opposite direction. My father wanted me to be a tennis player. And he wanted me not to be just a tennis player. I think he would rather like that I will be the world number one. And I didn't have this drive for success. And for me, it's clear that success won't make me happier from very young age. I understand it. So I think that my problems with success in paintings is first of all coming from that. I don't want to put it as my goal, because I think it leads many people, many artists, many talented people the wrong way. After all, I mean, I know many artists who, like, success didn't do well for them. And so I want to be careful there. And and I should also remember that the couples therapy that my wife and me are going to right now, that's the thing that will make me happy if it succeeds, not my success, not showings in cool museums.
Alex, do you have a relationship with Kiva, or is there really no communication between the two of you behind the scenes? Because sometimes people who work together do have a relationship.
Michael or Kiva?
Kiva, Michael, anybody, especially Kiva. Do you have a relationship with Kiva?
Well, I I was a couple of times presented on the set. I was on the set a couple of times when they were shooting him painting, and Michael even asked me whether it's good or not, and I told him some stuff which I think can be a little bit credible, but I don't think it's really important. But as I told you, I think well, I knew Michael only as a
I
host
call him
of,
Kiva. I'm sorry, because I just, you know,
yeah, yeah,
to me he's Kiva.
okay.
So, you know, but
It's
we
okay,
can go by
but
whatever name.
I knew him only from The Voice, the Israeli The Voice, where he was a host. And the thing that I knew about him, that he's a very good-looking guy. And then, like, from The Voice, he looks okay, but I didn't know how interesting of a person he is. I mean, Michael, he writes, he's a very deep and interesting guy, and very nice person as well. You can see it.
You can
You
see it
can
in
feel
his
it.
eyes, actually. You know,
Yeah,
he's just,
exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
the eyes are the window to the soul. You can see that this is a
Exactly.
very gentle soul.
Exactly. So, you know, he is a very busy person, I guess, and I think many people want a piece of him. So we don't have many relationship besides Shtisel. But when we meet, it's always very warm between us,
Right.
and I think that he appreciates me, and it's mutual,
Right.
of course.
Okay. You know, Alex, I know it, there's certain skills in life one can learn. Being an artist, it's a gift. You know, you go to school to finesse it, but it's a gift. Are there other people in your family who are also have this gift, or are you just the one who just got all the talent and everybody else is doing their own thing? Or do your parents, you have siblings that also share this love and this talent and this gift?
I guess me and Akiva, we are similar in that thing.
Oh, okay. Right.
Well, it's not exactly true. I think my mother had a really deep romance with the theater when she was young,
Right.
but I think she didn't want to do it as a career after all. And I think that me being an artist is fulfilling her dream in some, you know, psychological way, I suppose. And I do think that she has a very deep insight into any kind of art.
Alex, I know you receive support, as you just mentioned that you receive family support, and that's great. But how has this turn in your profession impacted your personal life? We are all affected by what we do professionally. Somehow we do get some effect into our personal life. So please share with us how you were affected.
In my personal life from being an artist?
Being an artist, being an artist, the behind the scenes artist for Shtisel.
Well, being
we
an
want to know
artist,
everything. Yeah, we want to get to know.
Okay.
We want to get to know you. We're just so impressed by what you do and your behind the scenes genius.
Okay, I think that being an artist, you see, it's tough for me to hear that I'm a genius, really. But yeah.
Oh, there is. You are a genius. It's
I don't know. But
you know,
okay.
studying your artwork, it's just incredible.
Thank you. It went worse. It was like I was fishing for a compliment. But I think that well, being an artist for me, it's. I mean, I can't imagine myself not being one. You know, it wasn't like really a choice that I made, because really when I saw those guys, Velasquez, Veronese, their paintings, they were alive. Okay, and I knew that I want a piece of it. I mean, I saw that something that I was seeing for 17, 18 years, that was my age then, somebody saw it as well. And I never met nobody that could like express it as well as they did. So for me, it wasn't really a choice. Okay.
Passion.
I mean, maybe if there was a choice, I would choose a real profession, but there wasn't. And I think that it affected me in the way that I met in my studies my wife and other friends who also interested in things that I'm interested in. Because until then, I was almost exactly as Akiva. I was always swimming in the wrong water. I needed to sweet water, and I was swimming in the salty water, and that was my feeling. And suddenly, when I came to Bezalel, it was like, what? Really? There are people like me? I mean, it was unbelievable, and I can't imagine my life without it. I mean, maybe I could go through, but yeah. And
Alex, yeah. When people come to visit Israel now, and now because the world loves shtisel, where can they find your art today? Is there a specific gallery? Where do people find you in Israel today?
They don't. I mean, there is one gallery that I work with, but mainly my works are in my studio. You know, the exhibitions, they are only starting to come back here, which
Right.
is of course great. And yeah, I have a nice show that is ready in my studio, but it's not figurative works. It's like landscapes. It's weird landscapes of empty sports fields. And now because of shtisel, everybody wants my figurative works.
Right.
So I don't know how it will be, but yeah, mainly all the works are mostly in my studio. Yeah.
And your studio is in Tel Aviv?
Yeah.
Okay. How will people find you if they want to Google you, to reach out to you, to come visit your studio when they're visiting Israel? How do they find you?
Well, they can go to my site, alextubis.net. They can see me on my Instagram account, also
Okay.
like Tubis, which also got crazy in the last month. Yeah,
Good.
all the details are there.
Terrific.
Alex, one of the things that our listeners are well aware of is that I like to get personal with our guests. Don't worry, not too personal. I just want to know, what do you do when you're not painting or not painting for the show? What do you do on your downtime?
Oh, let's go personal. You don't believe how personal I can get. I mean, I don't have borders, really. That's why I chose to be a painter. I mean, I think that in this medium, it's like in music. I mean, it's like you're really opening a window for everybody to see and look who you are. You know, you can't hide anything like. But well, first of all, I'm trying to be a better father than I am. I think it's an eternal journey. Also, I teach quite a lot sometimes less. And well, before this hype of shtisel now that is going on, I felt even more confident in myself as a teacher of painting and drawing, which is also nice. I like to teach. I feel it's a very good understanding of a very good way to understand what you are doing actually when you're talking and trying to explain it to somebody else, as I'm doing now. And well, I'm trying to write stuff.
Oh.
And I got some nice words about my writing too from
wow.
people. So I'm trying
Where
to.
can we see that? Is that accessible?
Well, now I write in Facebook, but you should do Google Translate in this. So I don't think how good will it be, but for an exhibition that I made 5 years ago, that was all dedicated. It was one big homage to Tarkovsky.
Right.
I wrote a short story, and it was translated to English as well. So maybe I'll put it in my site in a near time.
Very good. Excellent. Wow. Alex, thank you for joining us on the Definitive Wrap.
Thank you.
Our hearts are with Yerushalayim. both because of Yom Yerushalayim and also the high alert to the threat of terrorism. May God keep all of Israel safe. Again, thank you so much, Alex, for joining us and giving us this insight. Thank you to our listening audience for tuning in, and to vinnews.com for our show being their official podcast.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Definitive Wrap with your hosts, Bela Sebro and Alan Skorsky. Be sure to tell your family and friends they also can listen to The Definitive Wrap on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, and your favorite streaming service. See you next time on The Definitive Wrap.